Well, this is take about 150 for this video. That's right, no joke, no exaggeration, on a $25 knife. What a waste of time. I've been at this table for about 2 hours now trying to get this KRV done. That is knife review video. I know why it's so hard though. I've been through this lots in the last 4.5 years here in the Nutnfancy project. It's because, honestly guys, I'm not excited about the knife. When it gets right down to it, I just don't like it. I know, I should like the Vertex from CRKT. This is the model 1040, by the way. Has a small polished black micarta handle insert. Model 1045 has the same thing in cocobolo wood. It has some very good things going for it. One of them is price, about $25. But I just don't like it. I think most of it centers around a discussion, as brief as it might be, on this philosophy of use. Now you dudes following my project, my KRVs for years now, probably already know where I'm going to go with this. That's right, weight. 3.8 ounces is what the Vertex weighs. I know, we've been through this so many times. It's not a huge weight in the big scheme of things, but when we consider philosophy of use, I think it is, because the competitive offerings in the EDC roll are so awesome. I'm going to show you my loadout currently, not set up, it's just what I'm carrying today, to prove the point to you guys. First and foremost, if you're new to TMP, I don't just carry one knife. I'll carry an EDC blade, which today was this one, SOG Flash 1, AUS-8 steel, deep bayonet clip, love it, 1.2 ounces. My tactical blade, emergency defensive tool, was this one, Benchmade Infidel clip blade version. I know it's not light, nor is it thin, but it's super fast and it has reach. So that's a tactical blade. And then, as you guys know, who've been following TMP for a while, always carry this blade. No. Victorinox Cadet. But that's my loadout right there. So utility knife, I have drivers in that one. Stuff I've said a bazillion times before. That's my utility blade though. This one I don't plan on accessing at all. Emergency defensive tool. But if I have this and it's running, I don't know, 5.6, whatever it is, I'm not going to carry this one at 4 ounces. It just doesn't fit my system. Now if your system is just that's all you carry, which honestly is most guys and gals. They carry one blade. That's it. Then you might love the Columbia River Knife and Tool Vertex. The 3.8 ounces is nothing. I know that. I carry around, heck, 6.5 ounces worth of knife if it does what I want that knife to do in that philosophy of use. You getting it? But to me, the Vertex is pretty much only an EDC blade. Nothing more. Definitely not tactical. It cannot flex in that philosophy of use. For me, the blade is too short, it's not broad enough, and there is no meaningful traction at all. Okay, so that's a utility knife. Not a collectible for me, just a user blade. For you, you may love it. And I'm really debating which playlist to put this knife into. If this video gets lots of views, I might put it in, I should say induct it into the best folding knives under $40 playlist. I think that's going to depend on you guys. If it gets low views, that will prove to me the knife is not popular, because more than anything, that's what determines views. If guys like the item, whether it's a gun, a knife, whatever, if it gets low views, then you don't dig this one either. That's all I'm going to say about POU. It's an EDC blade, and it's a heavy EDC blade for me. I'm going to show you some competitive offerings before the video ends, and they're all lighter than the Vertex. Some are just as affordable. Some have better reach at the same weight. Kind of show the point. The feel is what some people, I always laugh at this, call solid. In other words, heavy. Okay? That's the same thing as heavy in my mind. I will never, shouldn't say never, but I don't remember if I've ever used that word solid to describe a knife. You know, some guys out there, lots of TMPers to be honest, love the solid blades. They like the heavy feel. For you guys, I think you're going to love the Vertex. Really. I recommend you go out and get one. Definitely. To me though, again, the feel is actually heavier than 3.8 ounces, and sometimes we get that. It's a phenomena of an all-metal handle, which generally I don't like unless it's done correctly. There are ways to do it correctly. Benchmade does it. Heck, CRKT does it. I'm going to review another knife here soon that shows you what I mean. So I shouldn't say I don't like all-metal handles. I just don't like them like this. Thick and chunky and unmilled, and even though this is 6061 aluminum, it has stainless steel non-skeletonized liners in it. Why do we need those? Well, you might need one on this side because it is a liner lock, but I mean, there you go. It's too heavy. If this knife weighed 2 ounces, my enthusiasm would be much more. Okay, on to blade steel type. I actually think the knife overall is a handsome knife. This organic treatment right here, I don't know if I really dig it. It's just my taste. I don't, to be honest with you. I don't like it. The blade, however, is a very classic drop point. I do dig that. It's hollow ground out of 8CR14 MOV Chinese steel. The knife itself made in Taiwan. Okay, now that steel is actually pretty decent. I don't have a ton of experience with it. I do have a ton of experience with 8CR13 MOV, 13% chromium. This has more, 14%. The CR14, that's what it's saying to you. There are some other variations in the formulation of the 8CR14 MOV versus the 13. And I don't know if I could really talk with great authority on the practical differences. I would expect that this steel have better rust resistance since it is running a higher chromium content. But for most of us, I don't know if we'll be able to tell the difference against 8CR13. If I had a choice between those two steels, I would choose 13 MOV because I just love it so much. I'll take its problems with rust resistance, which it does have. If you neglect it, it's going to rust on you. In honesty, I think this one will too. Out of box, the edge was not phenomenal. On this example, in fact, it was pretty unimpressive. I didn't really dig it. So I slapped it on the Edge Pro Apex and I put my own edge on it, about 21 degrees. You can see it shining there. I went to about 1,000 grit on it. Much better. Slices paper with ease. It's nice. Unsharpened swedge on that drop point. Let's see, how's that edge on the tip precision? Pretty good. Medium tip precision. I like the blade style. I like a lot of HG blades, that is hollow ground blades. I don't always have to go with a full flat ground. We'll leave it at that. Complete absence of any traction topside. No jimping whatsoever. No thumb ramp. None on the bottom. That's meaningful. So, but for an EDC blade, is that needed? I don't know. I always like it, dudes. You know that. It's just maybe a controllability and a comfort issue. I mean, even the the SOG Flash 1 has some traction on the side with the Zytel molding. Not so much this one. On to speed and strength. This is where it gets better for the Vertex, and honestly why I kind of feel guilty not liking it more, because this is a fast deploying blade. It uses what Columbia River Knife and Tool calls their outburst mechanism, that is speed assisting. We've talked about it lots with other models. It's simple and it works, and it's dependable. You can see the torsion bar right here on the back of the Vertex, right there. Then it has this, I don't know, fire safe deployment stud, and it's not ambi, it's just for right-handers, so lefties, you won't like this knife. This is basically a hollow thumb stud with a piston in it, which when you push it impinges right there and gets that deployment going. In operation, it's pretty invisible. You won't think about it much, but I have tried to deploy this knife and forgot that I have to push in before I push up, and I kind of ripped my thumb up in the process. I would prefer not to have it. And I kind of think of it as a CRKT unnecessary protectionist device, which sometimes they're known for. But if you can get past that, it does come out very quickly. It's a fun knife to play with. There are some other CRKT knives that have the fire safe that I like, if not love. The lockup is perfect. I didn't have to adjust it at all, up and down, side to side. Perfect. The strength, you can see the engagement of the very thin liner lock there. That is a tough liner lock for the EDC roll. It's probably good enough. It is rather thin though. Consider the price point. Handle I've pretty much talked about. It's a 6061 again. The fit on this inset, that is the micarta insert, pretty good. I don't see any rattling, by the way, on that fire safe piston. I have seen some that did do that. By the way, here's a stop pin. Right there, about medium sized, nothing super impressive. You can see a Teflon, actually 2 Teflon washers in there. Ergonomics on the handle are actually also not my cup of tea. Again, it's a metal handle for most part, and this is polished, so it gives you no traction. And you have a little flare out here, which kind of for my large size hands bangs into my pinky. Wah, wah, wah. Well, dudes, you got to consider the competition, right? Yes, even at this price point. So ergonomically, no, it doesn't do it for me. Pretty much on all levels. That takes us to clip design. Oh, there it is. And what do you know? No surprise, it is a tip-down clip design from CRKT. That's their corporate philosophy with most, if not, yeah, I'll say most models. There's a couple that vary from it. They do this because they feel it's safer for you and I. This knife would be so much better if it carried tip up. It really would. Put the clip right here. Make it follow this line right here. On the upside, the clip itself is actually pretty decent. It's attached firmly to screws. I didn't take it off to test it. It seems strong. It's blackened. That's a huge plus. And I like the shape of it. And it's a loop over clip, so it carries deep. So all those things are actually pretty awesome, except it doesn't give the user any option to change its position. And honestly, talking about ergonomics, in use it bangs right into your index finger. I'd much rather have it back here in this swell of my palm. Durability. I didn't hard use the knife. I just didn't. I would assume it'd be okay for an EDC blade. You're not going to be chopping with it or doing stuff like that. So durability, I would say, would be adequate. Now comes the fun part of the video when I talk about competitive offerings. And while we're looking at these things, you're going to see what I'm talking about. How about the 1760 Kershaw Skyline, a true Hall of Famer here in TMP. I reviewed this in 2008, redid the video in 2010. I've sold thousands of these for Kershaw. This is an EDC Hall of Fame knife. Very lightweight. 2.4 ounces, 14C28N steel, so it's a better steel than this. This one's made in the USA too. About $30. Yeah, I did that jumping job myself. You've seen it before. Weak, Nutnfancy. Look at that sharpening job. That's also the EPA doing that. I was carrying this yesterday for EDC. Okay, so this knife honestly blows this one away. In every category, ergonomics, whatever you want to talk about. Here's another CRKT knife that I think's probably a better choice. It's the Drifter G10. I reviewed that one. Very affordable, about $17. It's even lighter, 2.4 ounces, 8CR13 MOV. Still got that stupid tip down only clip, and it carries kind of high. But I don't know. In some ways, I like it better as an EDC choice, if for nothing more than the weight. What else I got here? How about this? This is a bolt out of the blue. You never saw this one coming. The Lone Wolf Landslide. I love freaking you guys out with something you didn't expect. 3.4 ounces. Bigger blade. Kind of a different price category. I think this one's around 45 or so. In 680 steel, so that's a European, very fine-grained, very rust-resistant, steel. This is actually a water knife. It's got kind of a topography handle on it. It's a traditional lockback. It has a couple of issues on its own, nothing major. Tip down carry, no steel liners, lightweight. I would choose this any day over this for EDC. Yes, even in the system I showed you, because this is actually a bigger blade with more capabilities. Also nice flats for resharpening. What else do I have? How about this? HOF blade, TMP. I'm going to end with this one. Spyderco Ambitious. 3 ounces. Lighter still, around $27. This is a sprint run in blue G10. You can go snag that at notjustknives.com. Other places have it too. 8CR13 MOV. This is a Chinese produced knife. Pretty much all of them are except that one. That's what you get when you want an affordable blade. Great jimping, great blade. I love the Ambitious. I would take any of these over, sorry, the CRKT Vertex as an EDC blade. Just keeping it real. It is fast. It's fun to play with if you can get past that fire safe deployment. It doesn't have any of those, I don't know, locks or other automatic locking devices that, again, CRKT puts on it. The price is decent. It's around $25. You can get that Coca-Cola one. If the looks turn you on, you like the speed, the steel floats your boat, I say go get one. If this video gets a lot of views, let's say, I don't know, 20,000, it will make it into the best knives under $40 playlist. It definitely is not, however, an EDC Hall of Fame blade. That's the Nutnfancy review. See ya!